This podcast is not intended to provide any investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of PSA, Collectors Holdings, or any of their affiliates. Any discussion of collectible values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance.
Hello and welcome to the PSA Pod. My name is Jack Archer. I'm alongside Steve Sloan. We are without Ryan Green today. We haven't seen or heard from him since his Chicago Bears upset the San Francisco 49ers. We wish him well, and we cannot wait to have him back in the office.
Let's see if we can do this without Ryan. I'm kind of nervous, Jack. I don't know. We're in a new space, too. We're in a NBA Jam Studio West, let's call it. Open windows. We can see outside, unlike our dungeon before in the actual NBA Jam Central Studio.
Yeah, the original NBA Jam Studio was a little claustrophobic. It was without natural light, messy, dark, mysterious. This one is sophisticated, sleek even. It's like a Apple store. And it feels good. I feel good right now.
And we have our Apple Bar genius. We actually have a new producer. He needs a nickname. We haven't gotten one yet, but we'll just call him Drew for now. We don't want to give him any, too good of a nickname as we previously discussed. So we'll just leave it at that. Drew, welcome to the show.
He was throwing around nicknames. They were a little too self-serving. In my opinion, nicknames need to be a little more deprecating. So we're working on it, and we're excited to share with the audience soon. All right, a quick rundown of everything we're going to be talking about on today's show. First, we're going to be talking about a phenomenal auction coming up filled with non-sports GOATs. Every single item, over 700 of them in total, from Steve Jobs to Bruce Lee to Pablo Picasso, are up for auction right now. It's a sale you do not want to miss. We're also going to talk about NFL Week 1 reactions and what it means for the hobby, and Topps Chrome Baseball releasing later this week. But first, we have a special announcement to make. Steve, take it away.
Of course, bulk is back. If you listened to last week's show, you heard PSA President Kevin Linnane give an inside look at the return of the service level. But if you missed that episode, go back and give it a listen, because Kevin covers not only the return of bulk, but he also talks about our new offices in New Jersey, our international expansion in Japan, Canada, China, more benefits to the Collectors Club, just a whole bunch of stuff. But really, he really went into the bulk update. And just as a reminder, here's the rundown of what is available to collectors today on PSAcard.com. $22 a card with a 25 card minimum and a $199 declared value limit. You do need to be a Collectors Club member. You can check that out at PSAcard.com/join. The one thing I really wanted to touch on with this service level return is the turnaround time. It's an estimated 120 to 150 days, but I want to spend a minute on this point because, obviously PSA has to win the hearts and minds back of collectors regarding our turnaround times. The backlog created a lot of delays. We have built up, 40 to 50,000 units of daily capacity at this point. What does that mean for today's submitters? Well, it means that you don't have a backlog blocking access to your new submissions, which means things are going to flow through much more smoothly. So this is really a timing exercise. And this is a question back for you, Jack, because the way that I think collectors need to look at this is what is going to be coming up in, say, 4 months that I can capitalize on today by submitting cards that will be most appropriate for that time frame. So 4 months from now, what kind of cards are you looking at getting back from PSA? That's the approach to take with the submissions. What's on your mind for that?
Well, first of all, Topps Chrome coming out later this week for baseball. That 4-month window is kind of perfect because you're going to get those cards back right during the spring training, starting up, new teams, new faces, a lot of buzz in the hobby for baseball. So if you're ripping Topps Chrome, throwing it in a bulk order is a really wise idea. For me, myself, I was lucky enough to rip a hobby box of Optic Basketball last week. I scored an Evan Mobley on-card auto holo. I'm obsessed with the card and over the moon. But I also hit like a Cade Cunningham base. I hit a Scotty Barnes base. And then I hit some color of some veterans. I got one of the case hit Carmelo Anthony cards. I got an orange, I believe at a 99 James Harden. I'm not even a James Harden fan, but the card is just beautiful. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be compiling and then sending bulk and then getting back whenever, because just getting those in a case, getting those graded makes a lot of sense for me.
That's a great rundown of the cards to submit. In fact, we should get into a little bit more in terms of that Topps Chrome Baseball that you brought up, Jack. How about on the back half of this break, we get into that a little more?
Bulk is back. For $22 per card, submit 25 or more of your favorite standard cards at PSA's lowest standard service pricing for the foreseeable future. Only available to Collectors Club members, so head to psacard.com/join to sign up now.
All right, so 2022 Topps Chrome Baseball comes back this Friday. It's releasing at hobby shops everywhere. I cannot wait. Wander Franco leads the product, but unfortunately, some of the bigger names in the product, Bobby Witt, Julio Rodriguez, Spencer Torkelson, CJ Abrams, are all short printed. We don't know if that means that they're also going to have parallels, but their base card at the very least will be short printed. Are you excited for Topps Chrome Baseball, Steve?
I'm excited. I'm more of a football guy, but baseball is such a core product. And when you get it in hand, you notice the designs. There's some really cool stuff in this one in terms of inserts. So yeah, definitely excited.
I love the design this year personally, and I am just incredibly excited to get hands-on with this product. There are a couple new things, a couple changes that I'll run down real quick. Aqua Lava refractors out of 199 are in this product, and then blue Ray Wave refractors out of 150, which are autographs, are also in this product. If you're familiar with some of the recent Topps Chrome Formula One products, you know what these parallels look like. They're incredible. They're shiny, and they have this really interesting effect. They've gone over very, very well in the hobby.
Could I ask you about the Aqua Lava? Because for me, like, I think of football product, and I think of the lime green is just popping, and that certain colors combined with chrome just really do it. That's the kind of lead here with Topps Chrome Baseball?
No, I totally agree with you. And the neon green for Select specifically it just pops at a entirely new level. There's actually a really nice Anthony Edwards Select rookie card color match. He's wearing the alternative Timberwolves jersey with the green, just great. But yeah, the Aqua Lava, it isn't quite as bright as some of those greens are, but it just has this really interesting effect to it that isn't quite an X Fractor, isn't quite a wave or anything like that. It feels totally new. It feels like something you haven't seen from the hobby before, which is really exciting. And then X Fractors are part of these things they're calling monster boxes. I'm not exactly sure how big these monster boxes are going to be, but first of all, awesome name. Second of all, it might just be a rebrand for mega boxes, which is great because much better name. But you get 10 X Fractors in each of these boxes. And given the lineage of X Fractors, the pedigree it has, how long it's been a part of Topps Chrome, I think that's a really interesting place to look if you want to pick up something at a retail price for a little less than the big dog hobby boxes and jumbo boxes, which I think the hobby box starts at $350 and the jumbo box is around $800. The hobby has 2 autos. The jumbo, of course, has 5 autographs.
I just love chrome. Like anything shiny, just sign me up. Like, yeah, Series 1, Series 2 are great. I just love the fact that it adds a new dimension to the design when you hit that chrome, especially like the 1987 design. I'm going to love, seeing that one. Like there's a great picture of a Shohei in their marketing materials that really looks like it would pop.
Yeah, that one's going to be the craziest because it is such a retro design and really has no business being in chrome, but it's like almost artful in how the contrast, the juxtaposition there. It's pretty cool.
You probably don't have to worry about the chipping of the borders or anything like that, which plagued the 87 issue.
Yeah.
That's a nice evolution, we'll call it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The shininess and some of the printing effects that they put on these cards, I think are very they're a great advertisement to get new people into the hobby because there are so many people that just kind of know what they grew up with and they haven't re-entered the hobby and they don't even know cards look like this nowadays. And when they see them in person, there's a wow factor that's really hard to develop with some of the more traditional heritage focused sets. There is one thing I wanted to bring up with Topps Chrome, which I'm very excited about, is that not only are they adding relics to Topps Chrome, which I don't believe they've ever done, or at least not recently, they're adding RPAs. And every relic in the set comes from MLB authentication, meaning each patch features a hologram that links to a database showing exactly what game the swatch came from. If if you're a collector, chances are you're probably not crazy about quote unquote player worn patches.
Yeah,
and
this is huge.
The game worn stuff is really, in my opinion, and many others, the most collectible when it comes to relics. And the fact that Topps Chrome, the flagship product, He's using the MLB authentication swatches. And the fact that you can see exactly what game it came from, to me, it's like the coolest thing in the world.
It's like a second hit within it because you get to look up what the game was, what happened. And if it's something momentous, that could be a huge upgrade in terms of the value of the card if it's something really special.
Yeah, Topps Chrome RPA. I mean, I love Dynasty. I love some of the higher end Topps products, but nothing will ever be Topps Chrome. So to get a Topps Chrome RPA of Trout or, Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, a lot of those players that I really enjoy, I think that would just be the coolest thing.
On card too, right?
Yeah, from my understanding, it's all on card. Everything I've seen is all on card. Topps Chrome traditionally on card. So if you hate player worn patches and you hate sticker autos, like this is the place to be.
So which guys are you looking for within this, Jack? Are you mentioned Wander, Bobby Witt Jr., Julio. Of those three, which one are you really going after?
I mean, I'm a company man, Steve, so I'm going Bobby Witt. Friend of the pod, friend of the company. I'm a huge fan of his game. Awesome dude overall. And I have an autographed MLB debut ticket from him, and I'm looking to add to the collection. And I think this will be a great opportunity to do so. Definitely excited, but there's a lot of good rookies in this class. Anyone that you're eyeing specifically to maybe start a PC or at least pick up a few singles of?
Yeah, I mean, it pains me as an AL West fan, but I got to go J-Rod. Just his talent level is just unmatched in terms of what I've seen recently coming out of the Mariners organization. 25 home runs as of recording this pod. Also, like a sneaky 24 stolen bases. The dude's a burner. So I just love the all-around talent for J-Rod, and I have a feeling he's going to be giving me nightmares, much like the Griffeys and Ichiros of the past for the Mariners organization.
He's incredible, and he's so likable, and he has so much energy, and I'm definitely rooting for him. I'll probably pick up a few cards of J-Rod myself. After the break, we're going to jump into week 1 of the NFL, quick reactions, and what it all means for the hobby.
Hey everyone, Drew here, PSA podcast producer, here to remind you to follow us on social at PSA Card, and be sure to follow us on our new TikTok account, which is actually PSA_card. We already have some fun content on there and tons of really exciting things on the way, so make sure to be logged onto the PSA TikTok account, which again is PSA_card.
Football returned last weekend, week 1 of the NFL season. I was in absolute heaven watching NFL Red Zone all Sunday, and then NFL Sunday Night Football all Sunday night, and then Monday Night Football all Monday night. It's a great time to be a sports fan, a great time to be a football fan, and a great time to be a hobbyist. Any big winners this weekend for you, Steve, in terms of the hobby and in terms of football in general?
Big winner other than myself, just having this like calm serenity about me, knowing that football is back and I get to watch a game basically every 3 days from now forward. Yes. Okay. Other than me on the field, the quarterbacks get all the love. Everyone had all their eyes on Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, obviously the bigger guys from the second year like Burrow and Herbert. But I'm going to go to the wide receiver position because I think what we saw on Sunday was just pure dominance out of a couple guys. Justin Jefferson obviously being top of mind, Jamar Chase as well. Those two guys as just incredibly collectible young star receivers for me just cemented the fact that they're here to stay. If there were any questions, they're kind of out the window at this point because just how dominant they are. Ability to get open, ability to score, ability to rack up points receiving for fantasy, for example. Like these guys are going to be fixtures. And so if you PC either JJ or Jamar Chase, like you're in a good spot today.
Jamar Chase is next level. He's like a human cheat code. Some of the catches he made in that game, just really phenomenal. Both guys very fun too. And I can't remember wide receivers being this fun and interesting and just charismatic as these two in a pretty long time. So
we had a dry stretch for a while, right? I mean, of course you go back to the TOs and the
Ocho Cincos,
but like we're back to some really fun. I like the word charismatic guys. Like JJ, like I love him mixing it up with Kirk Cousins. He's not gonna let Kirk hold him back. He's gonna give him an earful if he's not getting him the ball. So I like it. I like JJ quite a bit. How about you? Who are you looking at?
I mean, my reverse jinx on Patrick Mahomes seemed to work. You guys are welcome, Chiefs Nation. That guy's incredible. He showed up and put up some major points. My boy Justin Herbert was also incredible. That guy has a cannon for an arm and slings it with such ease. I'm like truly in awe.
I did not notice. Thanks for bringing it in.
But the big winner for me is Justin Fields. Not only did the Chicago Bears upset the Niners in this swamp of a field in Chicago, but he showed a level of, we can talk about, pure stats, but there are a lot of intangibles that make someone more collectible than the next person. And just his smile, the joy he plays with, how marketable he feels as a quarterback in a big market. I think Justin Fields, if everything goes his way, could be a big name in the hobby for many years to come. And I'm certainly rooting for him.
Yeah, talk about endearing yourself to a fan base. I mean, we haven't even heard from Ryan, our resident Bears fan, in days. Like he's gone off, he's AWOL basically, just probably chasing Fields all over the country. He's probably like going to Green Bay or somewhere trying to set up for the next game. But you're right about Fields. I mean, there were that was such a pinnacle matchup of Trey Lance and Fields. The weather obviously put a huge imprint on the game, but it just set up for like, okay, there's something to watch here with Fields. Like he can make plays with his legs. He's got a great arm. It's going to be fun to watch him put it all together.
But if you really want to win over hobbyists, Mr. Fields, just sign your redemptions and get them sent back. We're all waiting for them patiently.
Please, as a holder of one of those redemptions, please, I'm asking you. I am looking at a beautiful field level select of Justin Fields. It's beautiful cards out of this 2021 product, and I think if you don't have any of these, they're relatively affordable. Good place to start. Some of this new stuff from these guys. Justin Fields, great looking card. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, Steve's been ripping select like a madman. He's got some serious heat in front of him. We're talking zebra print. It's a tie-dye. Trevor Lawrence, no big deal. Some pretty impressive cards, and they look outstanding in person. I'm only slightly jealous.
I had to bring him in the studio for some good juju.
Yeah, helps with the vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, last up, we're going to talk about an incredible auction filled with 700 different PSA authenticated items, ranging from a Steve Jobs resume in a PSA holder authenticated. It's incredible, to stuff from Gandhi to the Beatles to Jimi Hendrix. It's truly something that you want to check out and you want to know more of. Be back soon.
All right, we're back. We're going to talk about just a phenomenal collection of encapsulated PSA authenticated items, autographs specifically, inside RR Auctions. We're calling it the PSA encapsulated autograph auction. I have to talk to those guys about it.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. But I did want to say this is not sponsored. These items are just that cool that we wanted to talk about them. The auction ends September 22nd. You can check it out. rrauction.com to see exactly what we're talking about here.
Block off like 30 to 40 minutes though. There are 700 items and you're actually going to want to see every single one. It's truly a feast for the eyes.
And I want to talk about why they're so cool. I mean, this is not the mainstream stuff that you're used to seeing in terms of the modern sports manufactured autograph world. This is truly historical relics, pieces of the past that just jump off the screen, especially because they're encapsulated by PSA in ways that you don't typically see from PSA. The jumbo holder, our T3 holder is just a bit oversized. When you get these holders in your hand, it just becomes more of a museum relic, a museum piece. I really encourage people to check these items out. Jack, you teased some of them. I mean, we're talking every piece of modern culture. We're talking Mahatma Gandhi to Rosa Parks to Steve Jobs. What are some of your favorite pieces out of this collection?
I mean, there's so much to like. It's essentially like Nick Cage and National Treasure, like found all these incredible historical documents and then sent them all to PSA, and now they're on auction. So if you love like historical figures and former US presidents, there's a lot to like. The number one thing on my wish list from this is a postcard from the moon signed by the entire Apollo 11 crew and authenticated by PSA and our authenticators in the autograph division. It is, I mean, I'm at a loss for words for how cool this is. And you think about like, oh, I want to add a Jordan rookie. I want to add a LeBron rookie. I want to add some nice Mike Trout stuff to my collection. All that stuff is great. But there are some goats at like a different level in this auction, and it definitely has opened my eyes to sort of the diversity of where the PSA name, PSA authentication, and the PSA holder can fall into your collection and collecting as a whole.
Yeah, from Millard Fillmore to Marilyn Monroe, there's just a ton here. And I'm going to pick a very, very classic pose from Marilyn Monroe, one of my favorites growing up as a kid. Something just incredible about Marilyn Monroe as a cultural icon that just always stuck with me.
And that we haven't really seen since. Like, it's just a different level.
Yeah, I mean, she died August 4th, 1962. I mean, we're talking about someone who's been out of the public consciousness physically for decades, but yet still as captivating as the day that she passed back in the 60s. So this is an 8x10 vintage matte finished 8x10 of Marilyn, kind of reclining on a pillow. She has a nice dress on with some diamond jewelry. It's a classic pose. If you see it, you'll instantly recognize it. But what I love about it is she's inscribed it to a gentleman named Teddy. And what she wrote is, "From all I hear, you sound nice." Talk about ultimate friend zone, just placement right there from Marilyn. I love it. It's just like, if you know a Teddy in your life, buy that thing and give it to him, because I'm sure your friend Teddy's nice as well. But anyway, we're kind of just a really cool little crisp, short inscription from an all-time great in Marilyn Monroe that I was just captivated by.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know a Teddy, and he might be getting an early Christmas present.
Yeah.
The other thing that I loved was some of the Type 1 photographs. I think there's probably a decent chunk of our listeners that don't even know that PSA authenticates Type 1 photographs, and they really are striking. It's true art presented in a jumbo XL PSA holder. And I saw some JFK photos in there that were like iconic photos. Like specifically, there was a photo that I know for a fact that Ray-Ban has used in an ad campaign about like 10 years ago. His legs are crossed. He's like eating an ice cream cone. He's wearing like the classic Ray-Ban silhouettes. And it's not going for like crazy money. And that's like a legitimate all-time photograph of one of the most interesting and dynamic presidents we've ever had. And that really just caught my attention.
Yeah. I'm going to go over to a Steve Jobs signed Time magazine cover. Everyone in this room, everyone probably listening, has been affected by Steve Jobs' work, at least being, a consumer in the American public. You've got an iPhone, you've got an iPad. I think about this as an early magazine cover signed by, Muhammad Ali, like the Sports Illustrated cover from Muhammad Ali, or first Mickey Mantle appearance being autographed by Mickey Mantle. Over time, these things just take on a new life, a new level of importance. And it's got this classic 80s kind of artwork on it. It's got an apple on his head. Like, it's just really captivating. It's really, really cool. And it's encapsulated in a really nice oversized holder. It's only $6,700 in terms of a Steve Jobs autographed item. I mean, to me, that's just a very, very cool, striking piece that it will have just will stand the test of time, given his importance to our society.
And what's so great about having these in our holders, not only is it authenticated, so you know for a fact that this person actually signed it, but it protects it. If you just had that magazine loose somewhere, it'd be very difficult to display. You'd be worried about, the magazine being damaged or anything happening to it. But when it's authenticated and in a PSA holder, there's just a different level of appreciation you're allowed to have, because you don't need to baby it in the same way. And I just love that about everything in this auction.
Yeah. One last one I just want to bring up, because I'm a huge music fan, and Jimi Hendrix is someone who, made a huge impression on me early in my life. I started a classic rock club in middle school because of Jimi Hendrix. And so what you have here is not just the autograph of Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix died September 18th, 1970. So 52 years ago, coming up, in a week, basically. But this is a photograph that he's signed. And the photograph itself is very small. It's like a 3.5 by 3.5 photo. It's just the medium of the photo is so candid. It's so casual. Signed "Love Always, Jimi Hendrix." Like, I can just put myself back into that moment. It was apparently signed, according to the provenance here, January 3rd, 1968. So just a few years prior to his death. But just there's so few Jimi Hendrix candid photos out there to begin with, and then to add an autograph on to it in a way that's just so you can just hold it in your hands at that size, 3.5 by 3.5. I just love it. I wish I owned this thing.
Its history and importance is just simply unmatched. I'll close it out with probably, in my opinion, the most striking or at least interesting thing in this auction. There's an Elon Musk signed $1 bill. It is one of the buzzier things in this auction. I think the price is north of $7,000 to $8,000 last time I checked. And for whatever reason, just visually, aesthetically, the green dollar bill, the red border around our flip, Elon's bold black signature, the fact that it's on a dollar bill for someone who's just overall wealth is sort of a part of his modern legend. There's just something about it that I think is really, really cool and oddly presentable.
Oh yeah, I mean, there are people who collect dollar bills autographed by different cultural icons, and this is one of those that you'll have to have. Our modern day Thomas Edison, essentially incredible inventor. Everything he touches seems to turn to gold, and whether it's PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, everything here is just turning into a whole nother level with Tesla, and Elon in particular. I like that one too. I would probably opt for a photo myself, but the dollar bill is definitely iconic and something that you can't really easily find.
Yeah, there's something about just like his sheer wealth and it being on a dollar bill. Like the connection to me is really interesting. There's also a $1 bill of Mark Cuban, same thing, going for a small fraction of the Elon Musk autograph. I personally invite everybody not to bid on that because I will be trying to score that, mostly to pair with. I have one really nice Luka rookie card, and I love the idea of like a cohesive collection, having different things kind of complement each other, and sort of having the owner of the Mavericks, the prolific Mark Cuban autograph next to my nice Luka rookie card. It's the Prism Mosaic blue, which is like a pop 30, I believe. It's a beautiful card. Having those two side by side in my collection, I would be really happy about. So nobody bid on that. Just let that fall to me. Thanks in advance.
Yeah. Can't recommend the scroll enough in terms of checking out the auction at rrauction.com. It ends on September 22nd, so you only got a couple days left in it to check it out. But really, just one of those refreshing auction listings that just is something you don't see every day.
Yeah, you forget that there's all these different ways to collect. And grabbing that Wander Franco autograph is cool. I want one of those too. But like a Gandhi autograph or like a John Adams autograph or an Abe Lincoln autograph or a Steve Jobs autograph, like that's a different level. And that's something that will, I mean, just make your collection feel a little bit more like a museum. All right, that's our show today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're enjoying this, please leave a review on iTunes. That helps incredibly with our visibility. This gets more eyes on the hobby as a whole. Steve, we have the Chiefs and the Chargers coming up on Thursday. Who you got?
As an AFC West fan, I'm rooting for a tie, but my real call here has to be Patrick Mahomes. What he did to Arizona was just ridiculous. I think the Raiders kept it close with the Chargers enough to show me that I think Herbert's mortal in some way. But here we go. Let's go. Mahomes all day. Matt Hindler, our resident Chiefs fan, if you're listening, that one's for you, bud.
Go Chargers.